Turkey has entered its first full lockdown since the start of the coronavirus pandemic. Turkey has previously issued a series of partial lockdowns since the pandemic began last month. The country has recorded more than 4.7 million COVID cases nationwide, resulting in over 39,000 deaths. The 3-week lockdown is set to end May 17th if cases begin to fall. Joining us now from Istanbul is CBS News producer Pinar Sevinclidir. Pinar, welcome. Great to see you. So this is the first time Turkey is entering a full lockdown since the start of the coronavirus pandemic. What exactly does that entail in Turkey, and how is it different from the previous measures that were taken by the Turkish government?
Tanya, some says this lockdown was inevitable after Turkey was struck by a new wave of coronavirus cases since the Turkish government lifted restrictions back in March. At its height this month, there were 60,000 new coronavirus cases in a day and more than 300 deaths. This is the highest in Europe since the beginning of this year. The lockdown started yesterday, 7 p.m. And in the daytime, the streets were crowded. People were rushing to trying to do a last-minute shopping, because during this lockdown, they won't be able to go out unless it's a shopping essential or a medical emergency. The schools will be closed and strict restrictions, capacity restrictions will be imposed on public travel. Only vital sectors like some factories, agriculture and health, of course, sectors will be exempt from these restrictions. Also, the travel between the cities are subjected to special permissions, although saying that things did not go according to the plan yesterday, when thousands of people tried to travel to the south of Turkey, to the seaside resorts, to turn this time into a holiday opportunity. This prompted fears that this could be actually further contributing to the surge of the spread of this virus. This lockdown is different than the previous ones because the previous lockdowns targeted certain segments of the society, mainly elderly and young people, trying to protect the vulnerable in the population while trying to not to shut down the economy completely.
And so this full shutdown is set to end on May 17th, barring any advancements in the virus. Economically, as you mentioned, Turkey's been struggling. Can the country handle this, especially with all that recent pressure on the lira?
It has certainly been challenging, and the country is facing an economic downturn. The inflation is very high, and as you mentioned, the Turkish lira is very weak against the US dollar, which is affecting the prices of consumer goods. People are concerned that they won't be able to feed their families during this time because they're criticizing the government. There isn't enough support. There's a criticism concerning the government saying that low-income families and people are not financially aided. 3 million people are relying on daily wages, and they won't be able to work during this time, and also they won't be receiving any help. But there is an economic motive behind this lockdown. Turkey, some European countries and Russia cancelled flights to Turkey recently in the face of this recent surge. And Turkey is a country heavily relies on tourism. In fact, tourism sector accounts 7% of the whole employment in the country. And back last year in 2020, the country lost 70% of its tourism revenues, and the sector was hoping to make it up for it this year until this surge. So Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is aware of this, and he said until the Turkey have to bring down the number of daily cases below 5,000 to be able to attract tourists at a time when Europe is reopening. But of course, all the sectors agree that the fastest remedy for the economic recovery is the mass vaccination. And Turkey so far vaccinated 22 million people, and 13 million of those received received at least one shot. But the Ministry of Health warned that they are expecting a shortage of vaccines in the next couple of months, causing further concern among those who are already suffering economically. Tanya?
All right, Pinar Sevinclidir in Istanbul, thank you so much for joining us.